Is this the sides we sit on? This is the sides we sit on.
This is the sides we sit on.
Wow, crazy.
Welcome back to Best Motion Picture 2010. Today we're talking about The Kids Are All Right and The Tourist. We're going to begin with The Tourist, not The Taurus.
Dead. What do you think of the story?
So, straight away, I want to talk about, I don't want to say how similar night and day in this movie were going to be, but I had no idea how similar they were going to be, and I gave this story a 2 as well. I could somewhat follow along, but lots of wasted potential. Again, I feel like this fell apart at some point. Maybe a good idea? Maybe. In the 60s, this would have been
a hit
bomb, but like not in 2010. Barely followable.
100% same. I also feel we will be circling back to night and day a lot in this discussion. I don't think I have anything else to say about the story other than maybe the other spy's name could have just been Johnny Depp. Are you Alexander Pierce? No, I'm Johnny Depp. Like,
He should have just been Johnny Depp.
Yes! I don't think I followed any of the story. I wanted to give it a 1, but I was like, maybe I just couldn't force myself to pay attention, so I also gave it a 2.
At a certain point, I was like, no, the twist is that he really is him. Again, I feel like the execution or something was not great.
The twist, which I would have forgotten had you not mentioned it, it was pretty predictable at some point, you know? I did like that this had the twist that I thought Night and Day was gonna have.
Yes.
Still no wild things.
I guess I want to talk about Johnny Depp's acting because, like, he was playing, like, his comedy without going, like, full Willy Wonka or Mad
Jack
Hatter.
Sparrow? Oh, okay.
Well, Jack Sparrow, I feel like, is a totally different thing. Like, he truly
Transcends.
took the words out of my mouth. So he was trying, like, I could tell, oh, that was a joke, but I wasn't laughing. But it's not ha 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 funny. Were you ha ha haing?
I am wondering what you mean by a joke.
Just someone who potentially might have been, I don't want to say better suited, but you might see this type of role is like Steve Carell. Him being like the oblivious, like him in Dinner for Schmucks. That's like the type of character that Frank was supposed to be. Almost. He was supposed to be more of a bumbling idiot. How he walked in on the operations and like ruined things or whatever.
Yeah.
There was something missing, and that's what he was supposed to be funny. I know there was like controversy this being labeled a comedy with like the Golden Globes, but even on the Wikipedia, it's like this is a comedy movie. I don't know, or like knowing that Steve Carell did Get Smart, maybe I'm like...
Yeah, that you say that, if it was really supposed to be a comedy, which, it most certainly was not, from what I read, that would make way more sense.
It was not a spy movie like James Bond.
A spy movie that was like not barely about spies, well, it was barely about anything. This movie was barely about anything.
Yeah. Johnny Depp, okay, his acting, American accent, whatever. When he whipped out his British accent at the end, being Pierce the whole time, I was like, that's your Jack Sparrow voice. Angelina Jolie's accent was fine. Paul Bettany had a horrible haircut.
Well, no, let's talk about Paul Bettany for a second, because, like, he did fine with a character that was clearly, like, set up to fail in the script. Watching the movie, I was like, why did they make Paul Bettany look bad? Why did they give him a shirt that, like, wasn't tailored to fit him? Why did they give him that haircut? They set Paul Bettany up to fail. How dare you, Sony Pictures? How dare you? It pissed me the f*** off. Oh, at least Paul Bettany's here. No! Other than Paul Bettany's costuming, I would say that I would give this a 3 as a film. Because it was, like, visually a beautiful movie that took place in Venice. And I thought Angelina Jolie was fine. And I loved all the boat neck gowns she wore.
I also gave it a 3. I thought it was fair. It looked beautiful. Angelina Jolie was beautiful. The acting was not horrible. There was just some choices where I was like, was this the right cast? You have some things to let us in on later?
Of course.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the casting things now? Or is that more a marginalized persons kind of deal?
Nope. It is a 2010.
Okay, a 2010 thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I gave it like a relevancy back then of a 3.
Same. I kind of remember it coming out, and I remember the Golden Globes controversy, and it did well at the box office. It was not a box office hit, and it was not a box office flop. So I'm like, you know what? It's very fair. Originally, this was supposed to be Charlize Theron and Tom Cruise, who dropped this movie to be in Night and Day. Just like Night and Day, where it was like Regency. I still haven't bothered to check which theater it really was, or studio it was. Sony was like filling a hole at this point in time for them. They like thought this was gonna be one thing, and they had went through like 4 directors. They had, I believe, 2 different Elises, and they had 3 different Alexander Pierces. The second one being Sam Worthington, who I don't know how Clash of the Titans played on this, but like if this had done well, poor Sam Worthington maybe could have had another shot. Because once again, Clash of the Titans probably ruined his career.
Yeah.
Isn't that an interesting little full circle moment?
Wow.
And I believe Sam Worthington came onto the project whenever Alfonso Cuarón was supposed to be the director.
What a movie that could have been.
Yes. And then it went to a person whose name I did not write down. They like started with the project, something happened, people came, people went, blah, 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 blah. And then this director came on, Sam Worthington dropped, and this director rewrote the whole thing in 2 weeks. And then this director, they are the one that pushed for the Golden Globes. They said it was supposed to be a drama when it was submitted. And they were like, you know, I really think this would actually fit better in the comedy category. Wouldn't you agree?
Wow.
I just have to wonder, like everyone thought, was there also a couple Benjamins slipped under the door?
Oh, I'm sure. It's the Hollywood Foreign Press. Wow. Okay, he rewrote the whole thing in like a couple weeks too. So this was different.
Whatever Tom Cruise dropped out of to do Night and Day is not what we saw.
Right. But I would say this is better than Night and Day.
I was significantly less entertained, but I would say this was a better film. As for today, what do you think?
I mean, I gave it a 1. It was on Amazon Video with ads.
Oh,
That's
okay.
how I watched it.
I most certainly paid for this movie.
But I don't know who's renting it. I don't know who's like, Again, almost what we said about Cameron Diaz and Tom Cruise. Who's gonna go back and watch this Johnny Depp movie, this Angelina Jolie movie?
The whole time I was watching this with my roommate at the time, he just kept saying, put on Hackers instead.
What's the movie that Nathan For You made, though? With, like, the Johnny Depp impersonator? Pin in that, gotta move on.
Yeah. I gave it a 1, not just because it's like, who's watching this, but when I went to research it, there is now an Australian miniseries called The Tourist, so I could find literally nothing. It was like Disney's Frozen. You're not gonna find anything about that cryogenically frozen head.
Yeah, I don't really think people are gonna revisit this.
Agreed.
Marginalized persons representation. Yeah, I gave it a 1. Entirely white people.
Not a single person that was not oat milk colored on the screen.
Maybe that courier, the bike rider who gave her the message in France, he was like Algerian.
Oh.
He had 2 lines in the first scene. Like, he was...
Yeah.
Could have done better. And that's kind of like, oh man, they didn't consider anybody but white people for this.
I guess. What I will say, if we're gonna make one little joke, that one young gentleman who worked for Paul Bettany, he was giving me real Dan Howell vibes of I refuse to come out vibes.
And Manson Family Disclosure, I said no.
Nope.
Not a good one.
No. Real stinker, actually.
And now, the kids are alright.
Yes.
I had seen this one before, but it had been years. Like, honestly, I was maybe a freshman in college or something. Like, it had been a long time. And I remembered parts, but it was definitely, almost like fresh eyes. So
yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Cool. Me too.
Well, yeah. As much as, like, you can enjoy a story about, like...
Heartbreak.
Yeah. Like, I gave it a 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It gave me way back vibes. We both love the way back so much. The style, the story, everything gave me those kind of vibes, gave me that kind of feeling. And this story I thought was just really impactful. And even though it's about, like you think you're finding your family, but actually it's crumbling away. Like, it was just really different to watch in your mid-20s.
I totally agree. If I were to choose different words to label what I believe is that same feeling, identity versus role confusion. Trying to find yourself and trying to find out where you fit in. When Paul popped into the middle, they all tried different roles with him. And they were all then filling different roles for each other. Particularly Annette Bening, which I would like to get to later. The way that they all portrayed that and filled those things and did those things and talked to each other once before and after was so painful to watch and to understand as a young adult.
Yeah. What did you give it?
Oh, I gave it a 4. I gave it a 4. I wondered, why was this story made? And it's like, the director is a lesbian who then like got pregnant, and this movie was put on pause for 4 years once she had her kid. So this became way more personal for her even then. Why was this movie made then? And it's like, how much this movie has changed the way we perceive it now, because reading the reviews during 2010, which we'll circle back to later, they all talk about how the family just seems so normal.
Because lesbians.
Right. I guess people must have thought like, I'm not going to say the movie's groundbreaking because we shouldn't have to be like, oh, lesbians are groundbreaking. If this movie came out today, it would just be like, what a heart-wrenching movie. Not like, did you see the lesbians?
Right, the old lesbians too. And there's a lesbian sex scene. Granted, it's all under the covers, but
it's all under the covers, but with the
gay porn.
The gay porn with the sound mixing with the vibrator. I believe I wrote during, I said, is this the most realistic sex scene to ever be put on a movie screen?
A high contender.
Yeah. But now, why don't we move on? What do you think of everybody?
I gave the art a 5.
Wow, okay.
The style, the opening, like, with the credits, and it's like the Vampire Weekend song. I was like, I love this movie!
That opening scene sets.
Yes. I forgot that Josh, like, was Peter or whatever, you know. I forget that Mia was Alice in Wonderland. Like,
yeah.
Anything anybody else had done, even Julianne Moore and Annette Bening, Big Lebowski, American Beauty, whatever. It's like all out the window, and I'm like, these are these people.
Yes.
And even Mark Ruffalo too. Like, everybody. I mean, it was just people dressing like how we did. But
no, I thought the costuming, I looked at it and I was like, Boyhood be damned. They captured this time period.
Yes. The cinematography, everything I thought was phenomenal. I thought it was really good. Like I said, I specifically like connected with it. That's why we're gonna have different scores.
Well, now that you bring up, like, I don't know, I guess when I was like thinking about this premeditatively 10 minutes ago, I didn't really think about the acting, but like I had it as a 4, and now thinking like their performances, I am gonna bump it to a 5. The only thing I want to say about the acting, which is just a soapbox moment for me at this time, is Mark Ruffalo in this movie, in my eyes, is not giving any more than he did in like 13 Going on 30 or Just Like Heaven. He's excellent in this movie, but that's because Mark Ruffalo is excellent, and people didn't want to treat him as a truly serious actor, regardless of Shutter Island. He's not giving me anything that's like more special. He's like, this is what he delivers. He delivers in the role. You got to give him a role where he has to deliver something crazy.
Right.
So
I thought this one, it's like, yes, it's Mark Ruffalo. He's gonna do a good job and everything, but like also again, the character was that like,
what you see is what you get. That's what the restaurant was called.
Yes, he was just a guy that I feel like he like didn't have dreams really. Like, but he was like, yeah, we'll just see where the, you know, how it goes. I know that guy. Like, also he was supposed to be what, 37?
Yeah.
I've met that guy, but before he is that guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm like, Mark Ruffalo did a great job being that guy and not Mark Ruffalo.
The Mark Ruffalo who spoils Marvel movies.
You know, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, the Mark Ruffalo we all personally know.
My buddy. Okay, I guess the last thing I want to say about art is, have you seen those memes where it's like 2010s indie pop punk is like great music and everyone's just chicken? Mm-hmm. This movie is like almost like that to me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Very 2010, but it's got something where it's like, no, it's still really good. 2010 climate, though.
Yeah. What'd you give it?
I give it 4.
Whoa, really?
This one was on my radar, but I didn't see it. And I remember, so it's like the kids are all right.
Yes.
And I remember like all right versus
All Right.
I don't know. Again, maybe it was because it was about lesbians.
Mm-hmm.
People were talking about it a little bit, but we weren't making fun of it. Did anybody host like SNL because of this? There was something about this where it was on my radar.
I gave it 2, but maybe it's because like this was limited release when it first came out. So it premiered at Sundance. It was rushed to be put out at Sundance, and then it was super limited release. I believe it released in 3 cities, and my family was coincidentally in New York City at the time, and I got to see it the opening weekend. I remember, like, every time I heard about it, I was like, wow, that little limited release movie, like, I got to see. And I was like, wow, it's, like, nominated for things. That's really cool. Because, like, I didn't know, like, it did obviously, like, slowly get more. This movie made its budget 12 times over. But, like, my, like, teenage brain couldn't help me, like, but other people don't know about it because limited release and only I saw it, you know?
Yeah, like a little hipster thing, like...
Yep. Another thing with the climate was, like, people did say this was super edgy and, like... the normalizing of the gayness or whatever, and gay communities at the time did criticize that they were straight women playing gay roles and that she has an affair with a man, because if she's a lesbian, why would she have sex with a man? Which I feel like really brings us into a discussion about nowadays of like, if this movie released exactly as it was written today, I don't think anyone would say that. I think people would ask about it, and it would create the dialogue of our sexual fluidity, which is way more understood now.
To me, I was like, all right, she's bi or pan or something. Like, I was not like, okay, yes, if you're married to your wife, you have a family with your wife, you're going to say you're a lesbian.
Yeah.
You know? And if you... I don't know.
When bi people pick someone forever, it doesn't mean they chose a side. You know, it's that whole thing of, like, we still have to fight for the visibility and knock down those walls and redraw from the erasure.
I don't like that she cheated.
Yeah. It happens because there are holes that needed filled in their family. Shut up. It's the role confusion of Nick wasn't filling those roles for Jules, and then she did have Paul to fill those roles and give her attention and make her feel desirable. Can you imagine if, like, you were someone else forever, blah, 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 or, like, you were with RJ and you needed to have eggs donated, and the child you helped raise, you're seeing their face in front of you and interacting with you in that same way, and RJ, for some reason, has, like, dropped off with that.
Yeah.
I got choked up just
To go back to the main point, I don't think people would be, she's a lesbian, brah, today, because why is she f***ing a man? Because, like, we have that conversation on Twitter all the time, and it's actually kind of annoying, but, like, people f*** who they want, or don't want. Shout out to Balor, the Ace King. And maybe that's for a marginalized person kind of thing about, since they're straight women.
Transitional 2010 to marginalized thing, there was, like, a revisit, Stars in the House 10 years later reunion with the kids are all right. I didn't watch it, but Julianne Moore said, she's like, when I look back today and think, God, and we were both straight, I would cringe at that today. I would never take this role today. I'm glad I did it. I think that she says herself, I think the dialogue about her sexuality would be completely different today. And it's also like, they know they wouldn't have been casting these roles today. Like, it's just one of the few things about this movie that didn't age well is that they were straight. I feel like everything else did, though.
Yeah.
Regarding marginalized persons, though, story-wise, I gave this a 4.
I gave marginalized persons a 3 because, like, they were straight. Everyone in the family was white. Like, Paul could have been a different race, so the kids could have been mixed. You know, there was lots of variables. I guess if it was kind of personal to the director and she is white, it might be a little bit different. Yaya is the only person of color in the movie.
Her little boy that she kisses.
Oh. I was, like, picturing a little boy, and I was like, Yaya doesn't have a son that she kisses named Jay. What?
Yeah, no.
Joni's friend, I guess, is not white.
The character's name is Jay. I don't know the actor's real name.
Yeah. A friend sidekick type role for him, and then Paul's original buddy.
I guess she has a name, Tanya.
Right.
She has a job, and she is there to support Paul's growth and development through the story, or lack of growth. She's not there just to, like, be a sassy black character, thankfully. Also, what I did love from Yaya, when he breaks up with her, she delivered such a real response of, like, being like, I'm being broken up with right now, and I'm gonna be like a mature woman about it. I don't know, like it seemed very real to me. Like I immediately thought about what she must have been feeling.
I remember like being like, oh my god, yeah. Because I loved America's Next Top Model.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, was this close to when her season was or not?
She's on cycle 3. I
Oh,
wrote it
okay,
down
well
'cause,
then
like,
definitely not.
yeah.
For someone who came from reality television about modeling, you would not think she would deliver. And she delivers. I love Yaya. I'm glad she was in this. I'm glad that wasn't like the fucking Brooke with the white girl with dreadlocks.
Glad Yaya's getting work. Like,
We didn't talk about relevancy now.
we didn't?
We went
just
from
like
2010 to marginalized.
Oh, well, it's like they were just so similar.
They
like,
were.
like that's what I wrote about it. What was your score for that?
See, I gave it a 3, but maybe I should give it a 2. I don't really, again, think anyone's exactly talking about this movie, but
I think that goes back to the indie darlings comment that you made. It's like that's why, you know, that feeling that I felt of like, no one's talking about this being special is like actually the truth now.
Right. But I think no, I'm gonna say 2.
Okay, I was giving it 2.5 because there was an article, the oral history of this movie that Variety did, and I did not read it, so sorry.
Manson Family Disclosure, though, I gave a no.
Yeah, I also gave a no. There's nothing in this movie that completely warped it for me. Not even learning that this was director's story. Same as King's Speech situation, you know?
Yeah, I do really like this one a lot.
I will say very certainly, of all the movies we have watched so far, this one is the one that has held up the best. And it's been the most emotionally responsive. When Jules is like, I got something to say, and stands in front of the whole family, and Laser just like grabs his mother's hand, and they're just sitting there, I was like, it's, whoa. And I didn't cry. I didn't even cry watching this movie. Me didn't do it. Can you believe? It was really great.
I don't know if I've cried yet in my life. Yeah, there were definitely, it got me though more than some of the other, even the good ones, you know.
Really high scores for this one though.
Yeah, I know. Next time is
Black Swan
and Eat, Pray, Love,
which we both have never seen one of them.
Yeah, I've never seen Eat, Pray, Love.
I've never seen Black Swan.
So tune in next time to see our thoughts on those. Watch our other videos, share them with your friends, click subscribe, click a like button, leave a comment telling us how beautiful we are. Don't forget, we are selling merch. Go to our website, sillysickos.com.
I was like, I didn't think we were gonna have that right in my head. We've had merch up for months.